Welcome, horror fans, and thank you for downloading The Horror Show. Sit back while your hosts Sean and Joe take you back in time to review your favorite and not-so-favorite horror movies from yesteryear. With their own twisted comedic view, your host will remind you why you loved or hated those classic horror movies and other horror-related events. Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome you to The Horror Show.
Hello everybody and welcome to The Horror Show, the show that dissects, mutilates, dismembers, and butchers all of your favorite and not so favorite horror movies and other horror related events. I'm Sean.
I'm Joe.
Joe.
Yes.
I don't even know what
Hello,
episode
Sean.
this is. I think we've been doing this for a while now.
I think we're in our 20s.
Yeah.
24
definitely.
maybe.
Almost like half year kind of thing. Oh yeah, we're on month 7. Got weird because we switched to bi-weekly.
Yeah.
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 So we're doing a pretty cool 2-parter. I think it's going to be 2 parts. We'll see how long it takes me to get through this, and it might just be one longer one. But we are doing the Essentials of Horror, and this was sent in by a fan of ours on Facebook, Brian. So thank you for that. So we're doing the Essentials of Horror. The concept is you meet somebody. They've never seen a horror movie in their life, and they want to get into it. And you have to give them 10 movies to introduce them to the world of horror.
And the 10 was very, very hard.
So damn hard. We got some from people. We got some from some of our fans. But my favorite one, basically, it's Grandma is Watching Horror on Tumblr. And she basically told us to go fuck ourselves. She was like, I hate you guys, but I love this question, but I hate you. She's like, I can't come.
It was so hard to think.
Yeah,
of?
she's like, I can't come up with anything. Like, this is a ridiculous, insane question.
I mean, I sent you my initial list, and it was like 52 movies. I was like, well, they need to watch these.
It's true. It's so hard when you really sit down. Like, off the top of your head, you could probably be like, oh, yeah, it's not that bad. And you could probably riddle some off right there. But then when you get down to it.
Yeah. And making lists like these is hard, too, because you want to not be generic, but then at the same time, the generic choices are like the best ones too. So
absolutely. I'm trying to find her comment to me. It was so amazing. Oh, she said, I'm just going to bang my head on my desk and hope a good submission falls out at some point. And then the hashtags were, I fucking hate this question, but it's also one I love. So much hate, so much love.
All right. Well, let us know if you're okay.
Yeah, don't bang your head against the desk. It's really not worth it, I assure you. So, Joe, before we get into this, we went to CT Horror Fest this past weekend. I was hoping to get some stuff out of it, but that was not the case.
No, but it was still a fun time.
It was still pretty fun.
Got to meet the great McFoley.
Yeah. Other than that,
though, it was Madman on Blu-ray.
I think one of the reasons I saw somebody post about Madman today too, and I almost sent it to you because I was like, oh, you are probably the only other person talking about this right now. So, but yeah, it was pretty interesting. I think the size of it kind of is what let me down a little bit. I was a little let down. Yeah, it was a little small. I mean, you could do the walk in 5 minutes, walk the floor in 5 minutes. There's probably only like 3 decent vendors.
Yeah, it was very small.
Yeah.
I personally think for the size, like because it was small, they did a really good job with it.
That's
for being
true.
such a because there have been some that I've gone to that are so small. Like we walked around the whole place,
Yeah.
very quickly. I've been to some where you walk in, and that's what you see, and that's it. There's like 3 seats,
and that's
walk by, and that's it.
That's rough to do, especially if you have to like drive like an hour away. Then it's just like, oh boy, what have we done?
Right.
What have we gotten ourselves into? But overall, it was pretty good.
Yeah, kudos on them. It's nice that they do that.
Yeah. They didn't do any. They weren't doing any press stuff, so we didn't get any interviews or anything. But the good news is we have press credentials for Scaracon.
Yes. In Verona, New York.
Acon.com in Verona, New York. We'll be there. I think it's September 11th through 13th. It's 3 days. That's how you know one's like, that's a crazy one.
Yeah.
When it's 3 friggin' days. So we'll be there. Come meet us there. We'll have press credentials. So I hope it's like a really cool tag, but it'll probably just be a sticker that's like,
just something you put on your hip.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to see.
Yeah, or care about. And people will still call you a jerk because they'll think you're cutting the line. And they'll be like, boo, boo, fuck you. And just ruin the interview the whole time. But we'll be there. It's going to be really cool. I'm going to be posting links and stuff. We'll be promoting that over the next few weeks. And I think we're actually going to be doing an interview with the guy running it.
Oh, we are?
Yeah, I think so. In mid-August. I haven't gotten all the details or anything yet. Just a quick
interview. Did you tell me about that?
Nope.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, forgot to. As usual. But we're going to be doing an interview with him. Probably just a real basic one, plugging the show.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, he does a lot of stuff. He's got his own podcasts and things like that.
Nice.
So he's really into it and should be pretty cool. And that's really it. So, yeah, we went to the HorrorCon. And let's see what else. Oh, you did a shark marathon.
I did. And if you listen to this podcast, you probably listen to other horror podcasts. And I did get the idea from another horror podcast. I don't want people to think I'm ganking this idea. I got this from Killer Point of View. But they talked about these sharksploitation flicks. And my fiance loves the Sharknado movies. So she actually requested that we watch all the Jaws movies in a row. And we did not watch the good one. We just started at Jaws 2, right into Jaws 3, to Jaws 4, and then we did Jaws 5, Cruel Jaws, which is a 1995 made-for-TV Italian movie, which is one of the worst movies I've ever seen, but I loved every second of it. She did not, and our buddy Paul definitely did not. He fell asleep about 4 times during it and kept telling me how angry he was.
Oh, yeah, I think Paul's going to be on the show sometime soon, so... Trust me, if you see that in the description, like download it immediately because I'm pretty sure it's going to be ridiculous. Hopefully he doesn't clam up. I almost want to do it
like he doesn't know he's being recorded.
Yeah, almost because
before you leave, you tell him he was recorded and he just gives you that Paul face.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Silence.
And he'd probably just slam the door and leave. He'd probably be so fucking pissed. He'd be like, "All right, we're going to start the interview now," and I'd be like, it's already done, dude.
I tell you, Paul. Well, Paul asked. He kept asking how much time was left for the movie, and this was after like 3 minutes.
Oh, this is amazing.
And I told him if he guessed, it was a contest between Paul and my fiance. Whoever guessed closest to how much time was left, they would win an autographed copy of Cruel Jaws, which was autographed by me, and it was just burned onto DVR.
Who won? Oh yeah,
Paul won.
I love that game. A movie so bad you have no idea how much time has elapsed. It could have been 30 minutes or like 4 hours.
I mean, I can't talk tonight. I legitimately had a good time watching it because it was so shitty. Like it was probably the hardest I've laughed in years at a movie, any movie. But there was a part where both Tina and Paul were like, "How much time is left? Like this has to be almost over. And it's only an hour and 26 minutes." Like this has to be almost over.
Bad.
I got up and I checked. There was 56 minutes left.
Oh my God. Are you serious? That is crazy because those hour and a half movies, I love hour and a half movies. I think they're
It's a perfect time.
It's a perfect time. I really do love it. Hour and 40 minutes, I'm okay with, but you're starting to really piss me off because you don't need that extra 10 minutes. Just tell the story in 90 minutes.
That's why, I have nothing against Judd Apatow. I think he's a good director.
Oh my God.
But dude, I don't want to watch a funny movie for 2.5 hours. I just want to shorten.
The 40-Year-Old Virgin is like a 7-hour movie, I'm pretty sure.
No, I think that's like the shortest one.
Oh my God.
Because Knocked Up and Funny People are like 3 fucking hours.
It's so insane.
I don't want to bash on Judd Apatow.
No, but
like
no,
I just
hate those. I just hate that. I just hate that. I love a
Cut me a
90-minute
break.
movie, but I love them because like you look up and you're like, oh man, 10 minutes left. This is perfect.
Yeah.
But not Cruel
But
Jaws.
not with Cruel Jaws. No. And the best part about Cruel Jaws is, I guess this director, I think his name is Bruno Matti. He was referred to as the Italian Ed Wood, which is a great accolade to have to your name. But this entire movie was just parts of other shark movies that he just like stock footage and like parts of other movies that he just spliced in.
Yeah, he straight up stole scenes from
Jaws 2,
like four other shark movies,
as well as dialogue, because we had just watched all the Jaws movies in a row. So like when we were like, wow, this is like word for word what these people just said in these other terrible shark movies.
That's so
But
insane.
he also uses the Star Wars theme song.
That I could not believe.
That he just chops up in parts. But like the whole buildup goes to it. Sometimes like he like let it run on too
Like
long.
the main one?
Yeah,
Oh
but right before it gets to like one note, he stops it and just like replays certain notes.
Well, like, okay, so like when we were choosing a theme song for this show, I wanted to steal music really badly. Luckily, I found Harley Poe and he allowed us to use the music. But like, even I knew, I was like, okay, I can't choose anything people know.
Right.
Even if I'm going to steal a song, I'm going to steal one that hopefully we don't get caught for. But this guy's just like, no, I'll take the best, the most iconic song like ever made.
Yeah, but here's my thing with it. It's called Jaws 5, which it has nothing to do. It wasn't produced by Universal.
Yeah.
What movie has a really iconic theme song?
Oh, well, yeah.
Fucking Jaws. If he's going to chop up a theme song, why didn't he just do Jaws?
Well, I guess. So I was reading about it, and we are not even talking about our subject. But it's the Cruel Jaws 5 thing was like some weird add-on that they added in certain locations. It was always Cruel Jaws, but adding the Jaws 5 was only
it
like
wasn't everywhere?
No. Yeah, it was really weird. Well, I guess wherever they wouldn't just sue them. Like, whatever. I don't know. So, horror essentials.
Yeah.
Tough question.
Cruel Jaws.
So,
Definitely.
Cruel Jaws is 1 through 10 for me, followed by Texas Chainsaw
Every
Massacre.
Jaws movie except for the original Jaws should be on your essential list.
But it's a really insanely difficult process to do.
Yeah, definitely.
Because you have to think about international, whether you want to include international or not.
I think because you're the one that kept reminding me, like, it's very easy when you think of things like this. It's very easy to think, well, what are my favorites, or what would I recommend to you, or like my brother? But like really hammering home the point. This is somebody who's never seen a single horror movie.
Yeah,
what 10 would you direct them to? So I think that's what, if you're listening to this, what you need to keep in mind.
You kind of have to keep that in mind. And it's funny because the ones I got from people, you are going to be shocked at what they included. They're not even bad, but it's just ones that I was like, should that make my list? I'm like, maybe not. And all these people, I mean, I'm talking about, I'll read 3 of them probably tonight. There must be a half dozen of them that were like lower on my list that I was like, oh, I really want to put that on there, but I don't know.
I mean,
so it's really cool. I think it was so hard. It's a great question, and a lot of our fans were awesome, and they were like, listen, I know you're going to talk about the must-haves anyway, so I'm just going to include some like weird ones that I still think, which was great. So to preface my list, I'm going to just say this. I went basically with American stuff.
Okay.
Factoring in, and this is just really an excuse for only doing American stuff. Not that I love a lot of foreign stuff, but I was kind of like, if it's a new person to horror, like if I were to like get a family member of mine into horror, I'm probably not going to be like, hey, go watch
this with subtitles.
Yeah, go watch this with subtitles, and you'll probably want to like kill yourself and be like, what am I watching? Like, what the fuck? So,
I agree. I did include one foreign. Two foreign ones.
I did have one foreign one on my list, and then I was like, I think I have to remove it because it just does not fit the rest of my list. But we'll get to that one. So I'm starting off with.
And I'm sorry. Before you start, I just want to remind everyone that this is just your list for.
Oh yeah, this is just my list for right now. Yeah.
Just so they're not confused. Like,
nope. Yeah, this is Sean's list. So any ill will you want to say?
Yeah, directed towards Sean.
Send my way.
Fuck him.
Send my way. Number 1, Night of the Living Dead.
Okay.
All right. So honestly, Night of the Living Dead for me,
the remake.
I do like, I do like the remake though. I don't mind the remake, but the original.
No.
Honestly, take either one because they're literally the same movie.
I would recommend the original for whoever.
So would I, but you know what? It depended on my audience. Like if we wanted to give Bud's Breadsticks one, or our friend Greg one, they don't watch black and white movies.
It's very true.
They're such knuckleheads that I would have to be like, okay, just fucking watch the one with Savini that Savini made. Like,
see, I'm glad that you're saying this because also making this list is like you have to know who you're talking to.
Yeah,
too,
exactly.
Because there's some that like I would recommend to ones but wouldn't recommend to others.
But absolutely.
Yeah, so this definitely either the black or the white.
Yeah, either one. And the black and white one though, I feel like is so much more effective because it's like what we talk about a lot, where it felt like you shouldn't be watching it.
Right.
It felt like I remember watching it on TV for the first time and being like, what the fuck am I watching right now? Like, this is insane. I could not handle it. It was just crazy. And
for sure.
And I think gore works better in black and white. Just that, because it's just black. Like, there's no worries about like special effects.
If the blood doesn't look realistic enough. Yeah.
Corn syrup. Like,
right.
It just looks clear. Like, I think that movie contains a lot of aspects of like, it was right in the middle, not in the middle. I shouldn't say that. People are going to fucking hate me. Okay. So, but it was, I feel like to me, it was a change of pace for horror.
It was 100%.
It was you're coming out of the Universal movies, those monster movies, and then moving towards
50s from the Vincent Price era.
And those monsters, like just the campy monsters. And for the first time, you're like, shit, like this is fucking scary.
Right.
Like this isn't a giant ant.
Like there was zombie movies before, like White Zombie. I Walked with a Zombie, but this
not like this.
No,
not like this.
And think about how many movies it's still influencing today. So like when I made my list too, I was also thinking like if I'm recommending to someone, there's a history behind these movies.
Yeah,
that movie's so important.
Yeah, it really is, and that's why I included it. Do you remember the first time you saw Night of the Living Dead?
I was very young. My mom, because my mom is like, you know, my mom. She's like the most strict by the book Christian woman ever. Like she wouldn't let me watch like MTV, but she fucking loved horror movies.
That's so crazy. That's so crazy. It's awesome. Yeah, I saw it when I was really young. I don't know. I really don't know when though, but my impressions as a kid were just, I just couldn't even.
I mean, the opening scene, Coming to Get You, Barbara, was terrifying.
Oh yeah, that was crazy. Like you tune into that when you're young and you're like, wait a minute, who's even the bad guy? Like, what is the bad guy? I don't even know. Like, that was just a guy.
This is true. I can remember I lived on a pipeline, which always got covered in snow, and that's where everyone went sledding. Yep. That's where I just would play with my little brothers and stuff.
Or we'd fight.
Or fight, yeah. Or, yeah, exactly. But before that age, like when I was like, third grade or whatever, I would go outside, like just like fuck around by myself, like going sledding and stuff. And I can remember like having a fear of just some guy like coming up and just like saying something like that to me.
Oh,
like,
man.
They're coming to get you, and like just seeing slow moving.
It's so true.
Zombies coming.
Oh my God. It was chilling as a kid. And that scene, I mean, the daughter in the basement, super effective as a kid. And I think what really affected me as a kid, because I was really into I don't know, my dad did some weird stuff to me. Well, that sounds weird, but he just let me watch some really inappropriate shit. So I was really into like documentaries and gangs, like gang related stuff and like real footage. So at the end, when they show those like lynching photos, but it's intended to be zombies and it's really supposed to hammer home this idea, like higher idea. I remember being like, what the fuck am I watching? Wait, like, is this real for a hot minute? Like, what are these horrifying photos of like bodies?
The social commentary on it, like the more you watch, like when you rewatch it as you're older, the more you're like, wow, this is like ahead of its fucking time.
Yeah,
like,
way far ahead. So Night of the Living Dead is my like really absolute. I think that kind of sets a foundation for moving forward. Yeah. You can argue so much, like you got to include a universal monster, and I didn't. I don't know why. It's just you only have 10 slots, and I just feel like I don't know.
Even though I'm doing my list next week, do you want me to say if it's on my list or not?
No.
Okay.
Don't say it.
It's not.
Oh, I mean, if it's not on your list, tell me it's not on your list.
Well, then you're gonna know when I don't tell you it's not.
Oh yeah. Okay. The next one, number 2, The Exorcist.
Okay. mean, how do you not?
You
I
can't.
mean, that spoiler alert for my list. How do you not?
Yeah, I mean, you can't. I mean, it's beyond effective at what it was intended to do.
I don't know how to word this. Do you think they can get away with, I mean, not get away with making, obviously they can't, but do you think it would be as big of a hit today having a little girl jamming a crucifix into her crotch, yelling, fuck me, Jesus, or whatever she's saying, and just like, do you think that it would be as praised today? Which is crazy because this came out 40 years ago.
I know, which is insane to think about. I don't know. It's hard to say. Part of me thinks, like, what rating would it get? Was it R originally? Yeah, it had to be. I would hope so. I would hope so. But I mean, you watch some of those PG-13s from the 80s, and you're like,
I know.
What the fuck?
That's what I'm saying. Like,
this is a hard R.
Like this movie, like, was just so brutal, and like I don't even think
that's
like,
really
people would like
good,
frown upon it today.
I don't even think I've even thought about that, because when you break down these scenes, man, I just don't think people are comfortable even sitting through a kid.
Yeah,
like that.
I know.
No one wants to see that. You watch these exorcism movies now, and there's kids being possessed and stuff, but really, you don't feel bad for them. There's no, because they're kind of in control, right? Or the demon's in control. They're winning.
Yeah.
Like, let's talk about like Paranormal Activity, for instance. Like, those kids in those are getting possessed, but those kids aren't losing. Those kids don't look like they're dying. They're just murdering their entire family.
There's something terribly wrong with Reagan.
Right. And you fear for her safety.
Yeah.
And it's very sad and like scary. And you see her devolve into just the most awful looking thing in the world.
I mean, that movie, I know a lot of people now, like, it's like cool to be like, well, it's not that scary. It is that scary.
No,
like,
it is.
This is the type of movie, like, for instance, the whole topic of this podcast, right? Today's podcast is if you've never seen horror. If you give this to somebody who's never seen horror and you tell them, watch this by yourself in the dark at like 2 a.m.
Yeah.
And then come back to me and be like, like, I was cool. Like, there wasn't a single like drip of sweat on my forehead at any point in this movie. You found a fucking liar.
Yeah, straight up. Or that one woman in the world that has no fear.
Yeah, they can't feel. They're not capable of processing fear.
Yeah, like that's the only other person I'd be like, what?
Yeah,
sure, it was weird. Like,
I mean, that movie's so effective.
Super, and it just can't make your list. And part of what my list did too was I tried to take some of these, as many different subgenres as I could.
I did the same.
So Night of the Living Dead was my zombie. This was my supernatural.
Yeah.
This was just, and really, no, I'm not going to make that statement. But anyway, I'll keep that in my bank so I don't get screamed at by people. You're all welcome. I just saved you 140 characters of yelling at me. Maybe 280 if you're right.
Now I'm kind of curious.
I was going to say maybe the best supernatural movie ever.
I don't think that's... Why would anyone scream at you for that?
I don't know.
I mean, supernatural is pretty broad.
That's what I mean. Like, you could find stuff like
possession.
Suspiria. Like, you could argue that.
Best demonic possession.
I still think Exorcist is the best. Okay, I'm sticking with that statement.
Yeah, that's not that outlandish.
I love it. I know. I'm just afraid of everyone screaming at me. I love you all, and you all just hate me. Number 3.
Has anyone ever screamed at you on Twitter?
No, no.
Everyone's
been insanely friendly to me. And very respectful of my opinions. Yeah. Everyone. It's actually crazy. I did not know the internet could be so kind. No, everyone loves us. Well, that's not true. Anyway, enough. Number 3. My all-time favorite, Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah, I knew you were going to put that on.
You got to. You fucking have to. That movie, escapes subgenres, in my opinion. It's not a slasher. I don't care what anyone says. We kind of talked about this one time.
It's not a slasher.
No. I'm trying to think about why we talked about that. It might have been for our stickers. Because I was like trying to stick with a slasher theme.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, is Texas Chainsaw even a slasher? And it's totally not. It is its own category. The sequels, whatever.
Actually, yeah.
You could do what you want with the
Chop
sequels.
Top's a slasher.
Yeah. But
wait,
Texas
you don't like the sequel?
Not a huge fan.
Really?
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
It's weird, and I owned it before I owned the first one. I don't know what I do. How I spend my money is insane. Like, I love the first one, didn't own it, and I was like, I'm gonna buy the second one. Haven't even seen it. Popped it in, and I was like, oh, Okay.
Well, our buddy Mike, my buddy Mike, has two copies on VHS of the new generation, both unopened.
Now, which one's the new
With
generation?
McConaughey and
Is
Renee
that 3?
Zellweger. That's 4.
4?
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Bought
don't
2 copies
think
of
I've
it.
even seen that one.
It's not good.
Great cast, though. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, though, mind-blowing when you first see that. I remember showing that to my high school girlfriend and being like, get your sister in here, get her friend. I'm going to fuck you guys up and show you this movie and ruin all of you.
I'm kind of glad that you said that, because while I was thinking of this, I thought of this quote from Quentin Tarantino, who was like, whenever I take a girl out on a date, I show her Rio Bravo and she better fucking like it, or she's hitting the road. And that's like that's how most of these movies are. Like, that's how you know if you can like get along with someone.
Yeah, 100%. Like, totally. I completely agree. I think, I don't know what the first horror movie I watched with my wife was, but I'm sure it was something pretty crazy. She's a big Scream fan, so it might have even been Scream, which isn't that crazy. But anyway, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, though, is nuts. And really, I remember these girls were like, they saw this the title card. This is based on true events that took place in the 70s. And they were like, is this for real? Like, is this real stuff?
Yeah.
And I was like, no. But like, even in, you're talking about the 2000s, it had that effect on people. And that is crazy.
Yeah.
That is fucking crazy. Great movie.
The way that, I mean, again, if you're showing someone that's never seen horror, this is like gritty, grimy horror at its finest.
At it, yeah, 100%. And I don't know if anyone
even that sound, which is just the old, like one of those old cameras, just making that noise. I mean, it's so unsettling.
Like, it is the worst noise ever.
Yeah.
It is horrifying.
And like, I don't know.
There's just something, and
yeah,
grandpa.
And there's just something about like being lost or like going somewhere and like you're unfamiliar with, and just, you know, there's fucking weirdos out there. Like,
I don't know if we talked about this on the podcast or personally, but we talk about remakes a lot and whether they should or shouldn't be made. And Maniac is like my go-to now for like, should have been made. Great update. Needed a little juice. I feel like Texas Chainsaw, the original, is still so effective because people are still afraid of these.
Yeah.
You drive through a town where there's no lights, no street lights, and dirt roads, and you're like, shit, where the fuck am I?
Yeah.
Like, I got to get out of this town pronto, Tonto. Like, get me the hell out of here.
I mean, if you're lost and you hear chainsaws, you're fucked.
Yeah,
there's nothing to do.
100%. And like, and in that movie, and I think eventually, a Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake will be great, but probably when the world is like completely overpopulated, and then they can like reboot it, because people are like, why is there no cell phones? Why? Well, there's no houses out there.
And I know a lot of
and
people
that's like a million years away, but
I know a lot of people like the new remake.
I like it.
I didn't love it. I didn't dislike it. I just didn't think it was, like you're saying, the other one holds up so well that I
you didn't
think
need
it was
it. You really didn't need it. And especially because part of its charm is how disgusting it is.
Yeah.
And grimy it is. And just
like, that's the type of movie where I wish I still had a VHS player and I'd just pop in a VHS and just watch it.
I bet that's terrifying on VHS. That's funny because that's probably how I watched it when I showed my high school girlfriend, which is even crazier to think about. I forgot that was still VHS.
Yeah.
That's nuts. Yeah, Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
What number was that for
Leatherface, 3. 3. I thought I had something else to say about Texas Chainsaw, but I think I'm going to wrap it up.
We're definitely doing mine next week.
Yeah. Grandpa's disgusting.
Grandpa is disgusting and rather young.
So young.
Actor,
right. So he was at
young.
the con. Oh, wait. We talked about this on last week's episode, and we joked about how young he might be. Pretty young. He was probably in his 20s as grandpa.
Yeah, it's weird because I just assumed he was some disgusting old man in 74.
Yeah, is that 40 years ago now? 35 years ago?
40 years ago.
Yeah. So he was a kid. He was probably 18. He's not over 60.
Yeah. It's very weird.
He was like 18 playing this disgusting.
Gunnar Hansen's not that old.
No, he's not either. I wonder. Oh man, I would love to see some like shots from the set with those guys. I don't even know if they exist or not. I know I've seen them like in costume, like hanging out. But
did you know on my whatever DVD copy I have of Texas Chainsaw, they have a gag reel?
Come on.
but it's still shot like the rest of the movie. So it's like like the dude Franklin in the wheelchair, like he gets like stuck and
everyone's laughing.
Yeah, and it's like it's a legit gag reel, but it was so because it's still filmed like grainy. I'm like, this is weird.
Honestly, if they put that in the movie, I'd probably be like terrified still.
Yeah.
I'd probably be like, why is Franklin laughing?
I have to show it to you. It's very weird.
That is so crazy.
I love gag reels, but that one made me uncomfortable.
Number 4 is going to be an interesting one, and definitely one people disagree with, and I think it just straight up comes from a place of nostalgia.
Prom night?
Nostalgia? Prom night. No. Although I love prom night.
Willow Creek.
Willow Creek. Fuck Willow Creek. We need to do it. No, I don't even want to talk about that movie anymore. Or we're going to be talking about that movie in like 3 years. We'll be like, Willow Creek. People will be like, what? Why are these assholes
we should
still bringing
do
that
a
up?
live cast from Willow Creek.
From?
Yes. Go to Willow Creek.
I'm all in. I'll be honest. I'll probably be terrified.
A big fat naked Sasquatch.
Spoilers for that terrible movie.
Number 4? But number 5?
Yeah, number 4. But you got me all off track because I was just thinking, did Killer POV mention Willow Creek on that episode we were listening to? I think they said they liked it, but
I think so too.
I just hate that movie so much. Okay.
I think we're in the minority.
We really are. Well, go look at Rotten Tomatoes. It's insane. It's insane. Child's Play, number 4.
Okay. I like it. It's a good pick.
That movie, I think, for somebody that's never seen horror, I think it's one of those things, like I feel like this could have been Child's Play or It or anything that's based on a childhood fear of dolls, of toys,
For sure.
of clowns. I think that's important to show people because it just works.
Child's Play may not, like, I don't know how to word this. It may not be a great movie, and I know why a lot of people wouldn't put it on their essential list, but like to me, Child's Play isn't essential. Like growing up, I think we talked about this all the time. USA used to play movies during October, TNT or whatever. And they would always marathon the Chucky movies.
Yep.
And as a kid who didn't want to watch, like everyone knew who Chucky was. Everyone heard about the mythos of Chucky. I couldn't, it's not on my list, but I could definitely see why you put it on.
That's why I included it. I mean, in grade school, everybody knew who Chucky was.
Yeah.
And I don't think 90% of those kids saw Child's Play.
I could tell you everything about Chucky without ever having seen it. Like it wasn't until after that I saw it.
Oh yeah. You're right. Like I think I don't think I think the first time I heard it. Yeah, I think the first time I heard about it, I hadn't seen it even.
Yeah.
You just heard about him and you knew
I go
what
home
he
and ask
was.
my mom. And she'd be like, "What are you talking about? Have a talk with your teacher."
But oh man, such a wild movie and wild concept and just a rude doll that just wants to kill you.
Yeah, and it's the soul of a serial killer.
It's the craziest concept.
And I mean, Brad Dourif just nails it.
I love
his
it.
voice is fucking awesome.
So perfect.
It's
so
perfect.
What do you think of those sequels to those movies?
I like Child's Play 2 is great.
Yep.
I think Child's Play 3 when they're in the army camp is enjoyable.
Oh my god, I forgot that's where they were. Oh my god, I love that one.
What was it? Whitecrest?
I think
Whitecrest saves the day.
I think that's the one I've seen the most actually. Because
that was on USA all
constantly,
the time.
Constantly. Yeah, I've seen that one about 1 million times.
I thought Bride of Chucky was stupid, but I didn't hate it.
Wait, was Bride of Chucky after 3?
Yes.
Wow, that's a big jump.
Seed of Chucky, which I fucking hated. I know people like it. I hated it. It's like if I had to make a list of my top 10 least favorite.
We might need to do that.
Like top 10 least favorite viewing experiences, Seed of Chucky is on it. And let's do this and let's get Paul on it because Paul's seen it and he fucking hates it. And then for a while when Paul would come to my house, like when I was still living at home, my little brother would just like from out the window, be like, "Hey Paul, I like Seed of Chucky," just to set Paul off because that's how much he hated it. So no, that one sucks. And then the newest one that just came out.
Have you seen that?
I liked it.
I haven't seen it.
It was a return to form. I liked it a lot.
What was it called? It was called
was it Curse of Chucky or something? Like
I think it's just called like.
I'll look it up while we're talking.
Yeah, take a look. I want to say it was like
for real though. It was enjoyable.
Like Birth of Chucky or like Chucky Begins or something like that. It was something kind of acknowledging that it was the birth. I mean, the cover art to it sold me. It's on my list to watch. I just haven't gotten a chance to.
I recommend it.
The Bride of Chucky and Seed of Chucky, though, are such awful, disgusting messes. I can't even handle it. And that's when Chucky was like appearing on any show he could. Like, do you remember that? The promotions for those movies? He was on.
I specifically remember for Seed of Chucky, and like the trailers had like Britney Spears lookalikes and stuff. Like,
and Chucky was on professional wrestling.
It's called Curse of Chucky.
Wait.
He was on professional wrestling.
WCW for the release of Bride of Chucky.
Of course, it was WCW.
Of course, it was awful. It was so bad. And
who'd he beat?
I don't even know what he did. He like called people out, but he's a fucking toy. And he's a serial killer. So it's like, it's not like he was playing fair. He was going to murder somebody in the ring. What was the point of that? I don't even know. But those two movies really soured the franchise for me to the point where I haven't watched any of them really since then. And it wasn't until I did this list when I was like, I love Child's Play. I love Child's Play 2. And I love Child's Play 3. Which I just discovered.
That's 2 minutes ago.
Yeah. But I knew like 1 and 2. I was like, I loved those. Like, especially 1. It was really a big part of my childhood.
I mean, 2 was great because it took place in that school. I remember he kills that teacher with like the air pump.
Oh my God. Yeah,
Fucking
that was
brutal.
insane. Yeah, it was so brutal.
I like that pick.
Number 5. Going back to basics here. Halloween for my slasher.
Yeah.
Could have picked. You could really throw in any slasher for somebody, but I think Halloween's the classiest one.
Halloween is the be all end all for me.
I think it's the classiest one. I think you can't put Friday the 13th one on your list because, well, I guess you could. I mean, you definitely could. You can do whatever the fuck you want, guys. I mean, please, by all means, put it on your list. To me, though, it's just, I don't like one as much as I like the others because there's not as much as a sense of history in one. Like, Jason is the history to me of that franchise. I don't know. Weird situation. But like, I would have wanted to include some of the later ones, but then they're like, why am I watching this guy come to life at the beginning? Like, they're showing me clips from old movies.
Yeah.
Final chapter we watched, like when they were like, hey, remember the last 3 movies? And they like show him rising from the dead 3 times. Like, so Halloween, just from the very first movie, is just a perfect picture, in my opinion. I think it's amazing. And it really encapsulates slashers and that time period in general.
Yeah,
the 80s.
For sure.
80s.
78.
Those years are weird, though.
Yeah.
It's like the 70s. No, you're right. I'd call it the 70s. You're right. Because the 70s ended in like 82. Really? I mean, no, like go look at movies in like 82. They're still dressing. Like, look at Prom Night and shit.
Prom Night is just...
And those movies in the 80s, it wasn't because they were Canadian. We blamed it on Canada, but they were still listening to disco in the early 80s. You know, it was very much the 70s still, even in style.
Honestly, Halloween, well, not Halloween, John Carpenter... It was so hard for me to not put like 6 different John Carpenter movies on my list because I love him so much.
I know, he's so good. When was the first time you ever saw Halloween?
I was super young.
Really?
Again, they used to have marathons.
I think the first time I really saw it was in middle school or high school.
Oh, really?
Even. Yeah. I saw it way later. I don't know why that was, though.
Dude, Buzz Breadsticks like turned me on to it at like a really young age.
That's funny because he turned me on to Lawnmower Man. So somebody got fucking shafted. Somebody got the shaft from Buzz Breadsticks. Clue. It was fucking me.
Yeah,
Lawnmower Man sucks.
He probably doesn't even remember. I don't know why I remember stupid things like this, but he also turned me on to it by telling me how like each one ends. Like that's what you're just talking about. Like,
wait, what? Like all the Halloweens?
Yeah. Like, oh yeah, like spoiler alert. Mike Myers gets shot and falls out the window, but then he disappears. And I'd be like, man, I have to see this.
Yeah, as a kid, spoilers don't even matter.
Spoilers
right?
are like the big deal.
Yeah, like you're like, wait, now I have to see
Yeah.
this, like because you don't believe your friend.
Like the end of Die Hard. I remember hearing about that guy like on the chain coming out.
I really wish that's how movies and TV shows still were with people. Like no one was really afraid of spoilers, and you could be like, hey, this guy dies at the end, and you're like,
No fucking way.
I got to check this out.
Yeah, that's how it was as
I'm
a
watching
kid.
it right now. Yeah, it was. It totally was. You're right. Like, you're totally right. Everything was spoiled, and you were just like, all right, I need to see this for myself.
Like I didn't care how it started.
Yeah, no,
it
yeah.
starts.
Yeah,
What happens?
I definitely reviewing movies that I watched as a kid. I'm like, oh, I don't remember this plot. This is a very good plot. Like I thought it was just boobs and knives, and that's it.
So, number 5. That was number 5.
That was number 5.
Halloween. Good pick.
Thank you. Number 6, The Fly, David Cronenberg's version.
Yeah. I like that pick. to be honest. I saw people talking about it when you posted the question.
Yes, yeah.
It's-
That's a movie I think even the most jaded of horror movie fans might feel like squeamish during. The transformations, he gets so disgusting, like maybe not squeamish, but you know what I mean? Just be like, oh,
It's just
God.
weird. Like Cronenberg is like the master of weirdness.
Well, have you ever heard this term body horror?
Yes.
So I never heard of that term until like this last year. And so it's transformations and stuff. And I guess Cronenberg does that in literally like every one of his movies.
He does.
But I'd seen somebody posting about this. Like he does it better than anybody ever. The Brood is like one of the most disgusting movies I've ever seen.
Lady licking the baby.
So fucking gross. You're just uncomfortable, and The Fly makes you uncomfortable. And I think
We should have a body horror marathon.
we
Much
really
like we did the
should.
shark movie.
We should. We'd just be vomiting by the end. I think. Like there'd be no eating. We'd be like, we'd buy pizza and be like, during The Brood, we'd be like, oh fuck, get this fucking pizza out of here. All I see are faces in this now. Like all I see are little pimple faces. Like
So, why would you recommend The Brood to someone who's never seen? I mean, not The Brood, The Fly to someone who's never seen horror.
just because it fuck you up. You know what I mean? Like some of these are like Night of the Living Dead is. That's not going to ruin your night. It's not going to ruin your day. It's going to spook you a little bit, but overall, you're going to be like, "That was fantastic!
Right.
Great movie." The Exorcist. I guess I can't really say it, but Halloween, I think people could look at and say that's not over the top.
It's not terrifying.
It's not gore. It's not just gore for the sake of gore. The Fly is just a different level of fucking disgusting that you're going to cringe, and you're not even going to be. I don't think you'd be upset about, but you'd be like, fuck, what is this? Like, people watch this for fun? Like,
I fucking love The Fly.
So do I. I think it's amazing. I think it's...
Dude, Goldblum's performance in that is fantastic.
Out of sight.
Brundlefly.
Brundlefly.
What a great name.
I think all the performances are great. And the end
Gina
with...
Davis,
oh, my God. The end with the fly, with the gun. Oh, my God. It almost... It's just crazy. The whole movie's crazy. And I think it's like a great movie. It just stands up, not even just as a horror movie. It stands up as a movie. 7. The Thing.
Nice.
This was my choice, and you could probably argue this about like 6 other things, but for like a monster movie,
Okay.
I chose The Thing. Could have went with like The Blob, which was actually on my original list.
Which one? Steve McQueen or the dude from Entourage?
Either way, but I'll tell you about that in a little later. Well, no, I'll tell you about it now. So I had The Blob on my list, and I said to myself, I really liked the 80s. I remember I liked that.
I did too.
I liked it a lot. Okay. I watched it last night to prepare for this because I was like, maybe I don't like The Blob. Let me just double check. That guy from Entourage is hideous in it.
Dude, his hair is so long.
His hair is so gross. He has bangs, and it's still parted in the middle though.
Kevin, what's his name? Kevin Dillon?
Kevin Dillon. Yeah. And he has the most enormous forehead, big ears, skinny face I just wanted to kill him. Every time he was on screen, I just wanted to barf a little. And I was just like, and I do understand what I liked about it though, because the Blob in that is like sadistic. Like it is gory how the Blob reacts in that movie. So I remember that's why I liked it, but that movie is just not that great. And the other weird part about that movie, so the first one was made in the 50s?
Yeah.
50s.
Steve McQueen.
Awesome movie. Mm-hmm. I love that movie. In this one, it's in the 80s and it takes place in the 80s. Yeah, I think. Oh my God! Wait, I don't know if it's supposed to take place in the 50s. There's a lot wrong.
He is wearing a leather jacket.
I know,
he?
and he's riding a shitty motorcycle. That's just what I thought about.
Man, maybe it does.
But I don't think it is because there's regular cars in it. Okay, I don't want to talk about it. It's if that's the case, there's some real major flaws that would disqualify.
Isn't that guy in it? That's in every 90s movie ever. When he goes to buy the condoms, and it's the
yes.
He plays Babe Ruth in some movie.
Yes,
that guy's in every movie
dude.
ever.
I can't believe that. I would not. If you didn't mention that scene, because I remember.
Also, keep in mind, I haven't seen this movie since like 6 years.
I was typing up some like notes on these up, and I looked up at that scene, and I was like, "Oh, that fucking guy!" And I just like put my head back down, and started typing again. And yeah, oh my God, yes, he's in everything. Oh my God, that's so ridiculous. That's so funny. But I don't even know where I was at on this. But I think they were using like 50s values in the 80s.
Yeah.
And it just didn't work. Either set it in the 50s or not.
Right.
Because the woman was like, the daughter's going on the date with the football player. The mom says, "I'll let you borrow my cashmere sweater tonight." And the girl's like, "Oh, Mom, gosh, really?" And she's like, "Yeah, you can do it." And I was like, what the fuck is this? This is not the 80s. Like the 80s was like, "Fuck you, Mom." Like, wear my shitty leather jacket. Yeah.
Listen to the Cramps.
Listen to fucking Madonna and whatever. Cyndi Lauper.
I love how this segment is about the thing too. Haven't said a word about the thing.
This is just a love note to the thing about how shitty every other movie is that we've ever seen. No, but the thing is so good. Monster movie perfection. I don't even think we need to even explain that one.
I mean, it's sci-fi. It's
Kurt Russell's a fox.
Kurt Russell's the best, dude. John Carpenter
fucking
again.
Beard.
I know all the ice in it.
Oh, dude, he's such a fucking badass in that. I watched John Carpenter interview and he said
on El Rey.
Yeah,
I saw that too.
So good. And he
that
talks
network
about
is great.
It's amazing. That director's chair show is the best. I got to watch the Zemeckis one too.
I only seen the Carpenter one.
Same here.
I fanboyed so hard.
And he talks about
he smoked cigs the whole time.
Oh my God, I know.
An OG.
And he talks about the thing, and he's talking about like just how cold it was. But he's like, Kurt Russell was the fucking man because everyone else was like, I think it was they had to do reshoots, and they were gonna have to fly back up to wherever the fuck they filmed it, Alaska, and everyone was like, "Hey, John, go fuck yourself." And Kurt Russell was like, "Get on the fucking plane. Like, we're reshooting this." And he fucking did it like a champ. He didn't have to or anything.
Yeah.
And so great movie, though.
Carpenter's like my hero.
And I saw that so late. I saw that in high school for sure.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And blew my mind. And I was super pissed I hadn't seen it before. It was one of those ones somebody recommended to me, and I was like, "Oh, okay. I don't believe you." And then I watched it, and I was like, fuck.
I think something that always hinders it is its name. Like, you're like, "I want to watch The Thing," and people are just like, nah.
Totally. 100%. I think that's what it was. Like, because my dad had made me watch so many movies like Them and shit like that. And you're just like, enough with the fucking, what are those pronouns? I don't even know.
Sure.
I'm not a grammar person. But like, enough with the fucking vague details. And it just ends up being a fucking ant or a spider, like a puppet with the strings hanging. Like, enough. But that movie was amazing.
Yeah. And that deserves to be on.
Yeah.
Never mind. I'm not going to talk about my list.
You want it so bad.
I do.
Guys, tune in to Joe's. We'll rip it apart. We'll all make fun of him. Don't know why.
My list is all post 1995 movies.
Oh my God. That would be so funny. I kind of like thought about doing something like that. Evil Dead 2, number 8.
Really?
Yeah.
Over the original?
Yeah, for sure.
I had this debate last night with Paul.
What did Paul say?
He's with me. Original camp.
2's better. I really think 2's a lot better than the first one.
I think disagree.
I think it takes it to a whole other level.
But the first one didn't have any, like, I like horror comedy, but 2 put it, I mean, this is your list. You tell me why.
Well, first of all, I'll tell you this. On Twitter, fuck, wait a minute.
Man, I like 2.
Wait a minute.
I don't like it more than 1.
I need to pull this up. I hope, if I didn't favorite this, I'm a freaking idiot, because like favoriting is like the easiest way to find this stuff. A baseball player for the New York Mets. Some guy asked the question, what? Yes. Verified on Twitter. Okay. Some guy asked, what the question was, what horror movie sequel is better than the original? Are there even any? Yes, there are. Evil Dead 2. And Kevin McGowan Jr. of a pitcher for the New York Mets, after me, favorited mine and said Evil Dead 2 also.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, and it was it's a site called savehorror.com. It's like some really weird small website, but this guy's following it, this pitcher. Like so weird. But he said Evil Dead 2. So Kevin McGowan, shout out, man. Props. You're my man. Evil Dead 2.
So tell us why. Why would you show this to someone?
All right, so this was a toss-up, obviously, between the first one and the second one, because really, I do love them both. I'm standing strong on 2, and really, I don't care. But I do like, I just like 2 more. I think it's a little easier to watch for people, especially somebody that's never seen horror. It might be just a little bump out of the budget.
I see you.
You know what I mean? But the real reason I chose it is because this is like a spot where people under the stairs could fall.
I thought about that one a lot.
Yeah, and that horror and comedy is so hard to do. I don't like a lot of it because it's so hard to do. It's so hard to toe a line where you can make people laugh and then make them jump like 2 seconds later.
Yeah.
Or at least make them feel like they're watching a horror movie and not like derp, derp, derp. You know what I mean? Like, and it's really hard to do. And People Under the Stairs did it perfectly. The Evil Deads and Army of Darkness did it perfectly. It's really hard to do. And this spot was something where I wanted to show somebody like you could be lighthearted and still like Evil Dead makes me jump still. All the scenes where she like pops her fucking head out of the basement still make me jump like a fucking asshole. Like I hate myself for it. I seriously, and the voices, yeah, Dead by Dawn. And the voices in it and the fucking deer head and like it just blows your mind. Like it's just crazy. It's just fucking crazy. And I just think I think it's perfect, but you kind of need to show, I think, somebody that's never seen horror that like at this point, if you watch all these movies in a row, they're probably like, I'm going to kill myself. I'm going to take my life. I'm not happy right now. Like the world is a dark place. And I just think a movie like Evil Dead or People Under the Stairs would be like, oh, I could get behind this like on any day of the week. Like I could watch this on any night and just really enjoy it. So that's that. And honestly, the Evil Deads are some of my favorite of all the genre. Any movie. I remember I saw Army of Darkness first, actually. My dad showed it to me. I don't think he knew that it was even
a part of the trilogy.
Yeah. And really, when you watch it, it holds up on its own. Like
it does.
Like the backstory, you're kind of like, oh, that's weird that they breezed through that backstory pretty quick and he's just flying through a vortex. But you really don't need to see it. It stands alone, which is an interesting thing to do. Right? And it's also an interesting thing to do to remake the first movie and call it 2.
I know.
I remember watching them in a row for the first time and I was like, what the like, this is the first fucking movie again. Like, I
know. It starts off with them going to the cabin.
It's so weird. It's the weirdest thing. I would love, there's probably an answer online somewhere, but I'd love to know what his like thought process was. Like,
I actually, when the remake came out, I did look that up.
Oh yeah,
and I don't remember. So I have nothing. I have nothing to contribute to this.
Glad it was brought up.
Something about the rights.
Oh
he
really?
Didn't own the rights to the first one.
Oh, that makes sense.
So he had to like, if he wanted to do another one, he just had to redo it. I'm pretty sure that's why.
Scream number 9.
I knew you were gonna put this on, and you know, while I was making my list, I was like, I know Sean's going to put Scream on. And while I don't necessarily agree, if I was going to show somebody who had never seen horror before, I can see why you would show
Actually, you know what? I kind of just want to take it back now. Because after something you said just clicked for me. If this person hasn't seen horror before, they're not going to understand the meta-ness of this movie.
So they're not going to get all the references, but at the same time, the film itself is just poking fun at all other things. It's just a fun, like, it's all the horror tropes put into one, so I can see why you would show it to someone.
You'd want them to see it. I guess, yeah, it's weird. It's a weird situation because I do feel like movies like Cabin in the Woods, which would also fall into the slot for me, it's just like taking the camera back on horror. and still making a horror movie, which is
Yeah, that's
nearly
exactly what it
impossible
is.
to do. And I just think Scream, out of anything, there's so much garbage in the
That
90s.
from 95 to like 2001, it was just garbage.
Straight garbage. And a lot of them, we talked about this before too. Scream is a really good movie, and they did something that I don't think can really ever be done again, which is like pulling that back and kind of looking at it through this eyes of a horror fan. I don't even know how to explain it, just in this meta sense.
Yeah.
And every movie in the 90s tried to do that, but didn't realize
It was
that
a satire.
that it was a satire of the whole genre.
Yeah.
And everyone copied it, trying to make real horror movies.
I Know What You Did Last Summer.
They
Urban
fucking,
Legend.
and they were garbage.
Yeah.
They were all fucking garbage. And I know a lot of our fans are probably furious right now because I think a lot of people grew up on that stuff, and that was some of their first horror movies, so they have ties to it. But I couldn't stand that shit in the 90s.
I don't think anyone would be mad at that.
I think they will.
Dude, no.
People love those movies.
Go back and rewatch those.
Oh, you don't have to. I don't have to convince myself.
No, I'm not. I'm talking to them.
Them. They're our audience. Oh, so we're just
I'm just
screaming at their
fuck
audience.
you guys.
Fuck you. Go watch those shitty movies you love and shove them up your ass. Okay.
No, I'm pretty sure like the common consensus now is like it's
Dude.
terrible, but I have a soft spot, so it's like a guilty
I hope
pleasure.
so. I hope so. I hope so for everyone else's sake.
Scream was good.
Scream was great, and now I'm kind of taking it back though, because if they've never seen them and they're just watching these movies, they'll be like,
So did you have an honorable mention?
I
to
guess
put it in its
I have a
place?
bunch of honorable mentions because when we get to 10, I have nothing for 10. I could not find anything to fill this spot. The Blob was there, then it was not. Then Record was there, strictly as, hey, found footage. I mean, it's so insanely popular for a reason. It must appeal to people's senses in some way. I like them. And I think Record does it the best out of anything.
I do have a found
Fuck
footage
the Blair
movie on
Witch.
mine.
Really?
Yes, from 1980. Hint, hint.
Have we talked about it before?
Oh yeah, you know how much I love this movie.
Found footage in the 80s?
Yeah.
Oh my God, this is going to kill me. I almost don't want you to even tell me until
I'm not
we
going
record
to.
this. Oh my God. I must know it.
Yeah.
Why
Talk
can I
about it
not?
all the time.
Okay. This is blowing my mind. Okay. I'm going to be really pissed probably.
If you guys are listening to this, hopefully you can pick up on that before Sean does.
Oh my God. Oh my God. I'm probably going to be super pissed because that would have probably filled this slot for me.
It would not.
Okay.
Trust me.
So Record was there because, like I said, found footage. I'm not a big fan of the Blair Witch. It's pretty good, but I don't think it does it the best. I think Record does it the best, honestly. I don't know, except for this 80s movie that I can't fucking figure out. Honorable mentions again. I had a bunch, man. You know, Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, if you want to go to silent, because
Yep.
you watch that shit, that is a legit horror movie. Same
1926 or something.
dude, same fucking structure, same visuals, a twist at the end. Like, I watched that and I was like, I didn't even know people like, I thought it was just like, hey, how you doing? You want to come see my sleepwalking person? Like, oh, it's scary. Oh, it's something we don't know. It's foreign. Like, what? Like, that's what I thought. And I watched it and I was like, this is like a legitimate horror movie. This is insane. It's got an arc. It was crazy. 28 Days Later. Couldn't put it with all the other zombie movies, but I think it's a great movie.
Yeah.
Toxic Avenger kind of falls in that camp where you just want
wanna
somebody to watch that,
do.
like, and just be like, just take.
I thought
this
about
in.
that one
Just
too.
fucking take this in. Just enjoy it.
You need like a fun B movie.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Universal Monsters.
I was surprised you didn't put any in.
Dude, I wanted to so bad, but I was like just trying to encapsulate. It's so hard. Invasion of the Body Snatchers, I think, is
There's another one.
fucking phenomenal. That should really be on my list. Psycho.
Yeah.
Straight up, like a real serial killer, like, you know.
Yeah.
And Nightmare on Elm Street. Can't really go wrong with that. But it was really hard to put this list together.
So just to be clear, you did not have a 10. and your list was like 16, right?
Yeah, correct.
Okay.
Correct. I mean, it's a fucking hard thing. I mean, but 10 to me, I do and I don't have a 10. I don't have a solid 10. Yes, you're right. But you could throw any movie I just listed
In that 10
could be
spot?
in that 10
Yeah.
spot for me.
Okay.
That's just the way it is, Joe.
Noted.
So when you
So
list
my
your
top
30
10 will be 27.
And well, I told you to keep your list because I was like, I want you to read the other ones because it is impossible. Once I started trying to do it, it was just so goddamn hard. It was just nearly impossible.
Yeah.
Before we wrap up this show, I want to read some of our viewer mail. Viewer mail. I am really into you guys watching us. And
Viewer mail.
just like when I say, we'll see you soon. Right? It's just stupid. It's just that stupid. Let's see. All right. So I'm going to start with our gal Horror Harbor. Shout out Horror Harbs. Double H. Double H. Yeah.
Double H.
She says, I've been slowly turning my girlfriend into a horror nerd. So I initiated her with Alien, Evil Dead, etc. She's already seen a few of the staples like The Shining, The Exorcist, The Omen. Then I tickled the Funny Bone, Dead Alive, Tucker and Dale, Slither, Return of the Living Dead. The most fun was
Slither. Nice.
I don't think I've even seen that maybe.
Saw in theaters.
I get that confused with that one with the little ball that's spiky and they're like locked in a gas station. Is that Slither? No.
What? Ball is spiky?
Yeah, it's like a little spiky thing. It looks like a little
Not Phantasm.
No. It's like it's organic. It's like an animal of sorts. It's like an alien thing. It's like got really big spikes and it fucking stabs you, I think. They're locked in a gas station. It's recent. It's like 2000s.
Maybe it is Slither.
I don't
remember
know. I don't know. We're the worst. We're the fucking worst. Return of the Living Dead. Oh, so she says the most fun was the onslaught of 80s horror movies. Every movie beginning with Night of the and then some.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, which she thoroughly enjoyed. Serious staples are all well and good, but showing the fun side is important.
Return of
Which
the
we
Living
kinda talked
Dead
about.
is fantastic.
So good. And if it is a male that is going to be watching these, if it's a man that you're giving these to, you better put Return of the Living Dead on
And
there.
if it's a man who likes music, specifically like the hard rock, punk rock, heavy metal, you have to show them that.
Yeah, or just those periods. It's just super cool. Let's see. We also have a new listener. I love these Tumblr names. They're just so long and crazy. Roasted lesbian Halloween feast. That's it. If the person was not squeamish at all,
What do you think that tastes like?
Pumpkin. If the person was not squeamish at all, here would be my 10 more or less picks for essential horror viewing. Carpenter's The Thing.
Yep.
Poltergeist. I saw Poltergeist a lot, shockingly, but that
did,
resonates.
I'm not a big fan.
I'm not a huge fan either.
I don't hate it. I just wouldn't put it in my top billion.
But then again, you think about when you're showing it to somebody. No, not even. It's a kid's
You have to
movie.
know who your audience is.
Yeah, again, yeah. She says Alien, May.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Evil Dead 2.
Another one.
Yep. American Werewolf in London.
Solid.
Yes. That was also on my list. Nosferatu, The Silent.
Solid.
Yep. Cabin in the Woods. Ju-On. I agree with Ju-On.
Sure.
For sure. I mean, that'll mess you up. And Dead Alive, Brain Dead.
I'm just going to spoil it. I want to put that on my list so bad
Same.
because it's like one of my favorite movies
I
ever.
took it on and off my list like 6 times.
The only reason I wouldn't is because I think if somebody had never seen a horror movie, it's just like too over the top.
Yeah,
Just be like, I'm not watching any other.
And the accents, they'd be like, "What am I fucking?"
And the
watching?
rat monkey and the
This is
baby.
insane. Like,
But Dead Alive is fucking
so
great.
good, so good, so good.
Did I tell you? Were you at my high school graduation party?
No,
My high school graduation party. I just played Dead Alive on repeat for like 4 hours.
people must have loved it. I love that people write John Carpenter's The Thing on their list.
I mean, that's the correct title.
I know, but it's funny that I don't do that. I'm out of sheer laziness. Evil Dana, Trick or Treat, cool. I'm sure she's not talking about the
The Gene Simmons, Ozzy Osbourne.
Simmons one. John Carpenter's The Thing. Actually, Trick or Treat is a great one to show somebody that's never
agree.
seen a horror
I
movie
agree.
before. You got 3 little movies broken up. It's kind of a nice change of pace. You're seeing like 3 different genres.
No, I
almost.
had an anthology on my huge list.
Yeah.
And I should have put that one. I don't know why I didn't.
I should have too. Fright Night,
Nice.
Event Horizon.
Nice.
That's an interesting choice. The Descent.
Yeah, 100%.
So good.
Terrifying.
So amazing.
Just had his 10-year anniversary.
Oh my God.
I saw it in theaters
fucking
with
old.
Paul.
So old.
Dude, so much screaming. That it was like a perfect theater experience.
Oh my
Everyone was
God.
into it.
The Last House on the Left, original, of course. Return of the Living Dead. Return of the Living Dead getting a lot of love.
Yeah.
Good for that. High Tension, My Bloody Valentine, The Evil Dead trilogy. Her name is The Evil Dana. And A Tale of Two Sisters.
Fuck yes. The best, scariest movie I've ever seen.
That is a terrifying movie.
That movie has scared me so bad. And I don't get like shook up easily. The first time I saw that, I had to turn on the lights. And I saw that like 10 years
I think I split it up. And I think I split it up under the excuse like, I'm really tired. But I was like, I need to watch this in the daylight.
Dude, I was watching this with like, I think I told you this like 6 times before, but I was watching this with like 5 other dudes in college.
Yeah.
And like the first ghost scene, we were like, nope. Like, just going on pause and taking a breather.
That's so funny. That is an amazing, amazing list. I really enjoy that list.
Yeah.
That's a pretty solid one. High Tension, you're going to scare whoever you show that to. Not like literally terrify them. They'll be like, I don't think
Same
I
with
want.
Last House on the Left.
That is the one reason I actually didn't include that
Wow.
movie.
I'm watching these guys rape some girl.
Yeah, like, thanks, friend. I fucking hate you. You are not my friend anymore. I asked you for 10 movies and you gave me a rape film and a movie where they cut off a woman's head and blew him
Wait, what?
in High Tension.
No, I know that. But
It blew.
made that.
Yeah, don't you remember
Put
that
it on their
scene?
penis.
Yeah.
Or was it their penis?
It's fucking spoilers, Joe. I gotta see that. Somebody in our audience is saying that now. Like, what? So for those listening, that was High Tension. Check it out. You definitely want to catch that scene. It's like one of the opening scenes, right?
It is the opening scene.
Yeah, that sets quite the tone. Last one, new fan of ours. I call him Chief Bear Glove. I think he's like
Chief Beard Love?
Chief Bear Glove.
Oh.
Still
good.
Still great. They're both great names. I think he's just like a private account though, so I'm not going to say which site he's on. But now you just check them out. Anyway, he says, me personally, Sleepaway Camp, Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
I really wanted to put Sleepaway Camp on mine.
Yeah. My wife loves that movie. She's brought it up so much.
Everyone I've
recently.
ever
It's
shown it
so
to has
weird.
been like,
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Like, I remember showing it to kids in college that don't like horror that
It really
much,
should
and
have
they
been.
were like,
It really should have been on the list, right? Like, because that is one that just I think it fascinates people.
like I remember this girl Megan that was when I went to college
I
with,
remember
who
her.
didn't like horror movies at all,
Yeah.
and we showed her a Sleepaway Camp, and she talked about it for like months.
Yeah, that makes sense. Let the Right One In, the foreign version. Friday the 13th. He is one. Dusk Till Dawn. Idle Hands.
Fucking great pick. Oh wow, Idle Hands.
That is an interesting one, right? Like,
Dude, Devon Sawa deserved an Oscar for his performance in that movie.
Joe, okay. Okay, let's just Dawn of the Dead, 1978 version. Trick or Treat, another one. The Descent, another one. Then he says, God, man, there's much more too. The Collector. He says, I like that one better than the Saw series, except the first Saw was great. And he says, Hatchet is also cheap and fun.
Hatchet is great.
Hatchet was a real surprise for me. I went in that with extremely low expectations and came out pretty happy that I watched
Hatchet is
it.
great.
Pretty cool.
First Saw is great.
I know.
There's a lot.
The
Man.
first Saw makes you... I want to revisit those. I think we talked about this once. And it just kind of gets weird in the middle. And that's where it lost me. I never finished the series out, actually.
Yeah, I think I gave up after 4.
I think that's where I gave up too. Jigsaw's like, no spoilers real fast, but Jigsaw's like sick and he's got like cancer and they're talking about like abortions and I'm just like, I'm out.
The girl from summer school.
I don't need to really know the background of Jigsaw, frankly. I just want to see guys in horse heads and a doll on a tricycle.
See, that's why the first one was so good, because you literally
had
knew
no idea
nothing
what the
about
fuck
Jigsaw.
was happening. Yeah. And I'd rather have kept it that way. Like, I don't want to see, like, Pinhead as a kid. Why Pinhead became Pinhead?
Why Pinhead became
I don't really give a shit. Just show me Pinhead being like, this is hell.
Such sights.
This is a nightmare. You are in my nightmare. You want pain.
When are we going to do our top worst list? Because one of the Hellraiser sequels will definitely be on my list.
Yeah, I think they should be on everyone's. Doug Bradley. I love you. I can't wait to talk to you someday and for you to just like shit all over me because you are just a grump.
Oh, God. Jesus.
Allegedly a grump. I watched a YouTube video of Doug Bradley talking and he just does not seem like the nicest man. The poor guy interviewing him was like, so when are you going to reclaim the throne of Pinhead? And I guess they're talking about a remake now. Like, would you be interested in doing that? And he's like, I have no throne to claim. And I turned down the last one. I was offered it, but I turned it down. I was like, oh boy.
Wait, there's someone who's not Doug Bradley playing Pinhead?
Yeah, apparently.
That's bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, Doug Bradley, you seem like a jerk, but you're a great Pinhead. You're an amazing Pinhead.
Didn't he not want that role?
I imagine, just based on the way...
Because he didn't want his face covered.
Is that what it was?
I think so.
I also saw a clip from Inside Edition of Doug Bradley playing American football in the Pinhead mask. Like Inside Edition was like, what does a horror movie monster do when it wants to take a break? It plays football with its makeup artist, Doug Bradley, just throwing the ball around. And it's really weird. So I suggest checking out. It's literally like 10 seconds. It's as long as what I just said. Anyway, guys, that's the episode for today. Kind of went on a little ramble there at the end. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you, Horror Harbor, Evil Dana, Joseph Magnuson, Chief Beer Glove, Evil Dana, our 4 friends that like us. Thank you all so much for listening. Thank you for downloading. We have stickers for the first time. So go on iTunes, rate the show, review it, give us 5 stars, send me your email. I won't go on a rant about why you have to give me 5 stars, but just do it. So send me an email and with your username that you used to write it, and I will mail you some stickers.
Yeah.
Free stickers.
Who doesn't love free stickers?
I would be on free stickers all day. The only podcast I ever reviewed was because I got free stickers out of it. That's where I got the idea from. So thanks, Old School Wrestling Podcast. Thank you all again. Rate, review, subscribe. And guys, like, seriously, thank you so much. The show's doing great right now. And big stuff coming down the pipeline. Check out scaricon.com. We'll be there trying to talk to Doug Bradley after just calling him a jerk. And some other people. But we really appreciate it. Thank you all. Thanks, Harley Poe, for letting us use the song Gorehound off the album Pagan Holiday. You can find them at harleypoe.com and facebook.com/harleypoe. Guys, till we meet again. Fuck, I cannot get this. I feel like there's a movie that they do this where a guy like cannot get like his, maybe it's like Anchorman or something, like where he doesn't know his like closing statement. He just keeps saying stupid shit or something. Like I need to just do something.
Say goodbye.
Yeah, like a normal person and not be like drooling all over myself. All right, how about this? How about stay weird? Yeah. Stay weird? Maybe that's better. And then I just avoid like, oh, listen, oh, watch us until we talk or meet again. Thanks.
Yeah, stay weird.
All right, stay weird, everyone. Adios.
Bye.
Red rum, 'cause I'm a